everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca and it's coming up to the end of the year and I want to post a lot of videos all of a sudden, so I am following a trend that I'm seeing and talking about books that I've DNF'd this year. And it is my hope with this video that it will encourage you to stop reading a book if it's not working for you. I know a lot of us say that we're completionists or we don't feel comfortable stopping a book. Like once we start it, we have to finish. And I get it. I do. I used to be that way. But life is too short to keep reading books that we don't want to read. There are so many books in this world that I want to read. I'm not going to waste my time finishing a book that's not holding my interest or that is not good or is offensive. So for that reason, I hope that you learn or come to terms with the fact that it's okay to DNF a book. But let's just talk about some of the books that I DNF'd this year. And these will come in two different categories. The first one are books that I DNF'd because I lost interest in them while I was reading, and they're offensive or they're not good, or there's something in them that I don't like, and I don't plan on coming back to these books. And then the second category is a stack of books that I stopped reading because I just want to read romance, and these are not romance. But I do plan on coming back to these eventually. So let's go ahead and talk about them. The first book that I DNF'd this year was Deadmen Walking by Sherilyn Kenyon. When I was in end of middle school and in high school, I read a ton of Sherilyn Kenyon. She was like my favorite paranormal romance writer, and I read like pretty much all of her books at that time that were published, and I loved them. So when I learned that she had a new, well, it's not new, but it was new to me, series, I was like, oh, well, there's an audiobook, let me try that. And it has helped me discover a trope or a theme or a type of character that I don't actually like reading in books, and I have learned to stay away from those now. So Deadmen Walking is about pirates. It is another book in her Dark Hunter series, which is very complicated, and let me just say that the Dark Hunter series is probably where I got the basis of my knowledge for Greek mythology, because there is so much mythology and mythological retelling in that series that because of that I've learned so much more, along with other reasons, but that's probably where the basis of my knowledge comes from. Anyway, so this book is about a dark hunter. So he's like an immoral vampire hunter, kind of. That's like a gist if you don't know anything about the series. And he is a pirate, and this book was really boring. It was very strange because the character that you meet in the beginning, I was like, oh, this is going to be the main female character. She's going to be the heroine who is going to end up with the hero in the end. No. No, which I thought was strange. It's not a bad thing. I thought it was just very weird. And then the whole romance was it wasn't well written to me compared to the other books that I had read by her. So I was really bored and I just wanted to stop, so I stopped. The next book that I DNF'd was Promises and Pomegranates by Sav R. Miller. This blew up on TikTok and it was very popular. It's a Kindle Unlimited book, and I thought it... See, I know people are obsessed with mafia romances, but I am not, I don't hate them, but I haven't found one that I love yet. So if you have good recommendations, let me know. But this is a mafia romance that I thought was kind of boring, and there's one scene that I thought was just way too ick, and I wasn't okay with. I don't mind when there are weird or not normal or traditional spicy, steamy scenes, but this one I think went too far in making something that's not okay, tried to make it seem sexy, and it just wasn't. It was disgusting. So I had to DNF this book, and I'm not mad about it. The only thing that upsets me is that it's a beautiful book cover, and I really wanted to own the physical copy of it to put on my shelves because it's so beautiful, but alas, that will not be happening. And kind of similar to that, I also DNF'd Satan's Affair by H.D. Carlton. This is another Kindle Unlimited read, and it's a novella, and I DNF'd this one for kind of the same, not the same exact reason, but the similar reason where there was something that was very ick that I don't know if it went to completion, but at that point I was just like, no, I'm not going to read that. So 100% check your trigger warnings for this book. I mean, if you like dark romance, then I assume if you like dark romance, you're probably not triggered by much, but this one was really, really bad. And like I said, I don't know if that particular thing came to completion, but if it did, I don't understand why people like this book or continue to read it. And then my most recent DNF was a Spindle Splintered, which I talked about in my November wrap-up, so I'm not going to go into huge detail here, but basically the author disparages Disney park employees, and as somebody who works in customer service, I don't appreciate that, and it was very distracting to me, so I DNF'd. So again, I mean, we all have our reasons for DNFing. This one just kind of hit a little too hard for me, so I stopped that. Especially like this time of year, you would think that, you know, it being Christmas, that people would be, I don't know, like nicer. But I guess the holidays just bring out the evil in everyone. So as a customer service representative, I'm feeling that. I am feeling that. So I was just like, I can't handle this when I'm trying to read for fun. So no, thank you. And finally, 3 books that I started reading and stopped for various reasons, but will eventually continue reading these books. So first, House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. It was funny because I think I had first heard about this. Well, I'd seen it on like at Barnes & Noble a few times. I think actually when I worked at Barnes & Noble, one of my coworkers talked about it to me. But anyway, I think Kayla from Books and Lala, she had done this for her book club, and I thought it was very interesting in the way that it was formatted, and I was very interested in reading it because of that. And so for my book club, I was like, hey, how do you guys feel about reading this book? Maybe not as like our monthly book, but like maybe we'll finish it by the end of the year or something. And it's just like a side book that we are kind of reading. And my sister finished it. I did not. I only made it to chapter 3, which I think it's kind of intimidating because it is a very long book, and it's also like giant. So it's a very big book, and there's a lot to it, and there's like, I think I was just kind of intimidated, and also like it's not romance, so I don't want to read it at this time. So I will eventually finish this. It might take me 20 years, but I'll always have it. I even have, because I was annotating it a little bit, I have my pen still in there marking my page, so it's made it a little bubble. It's how the book is permanently now, so yeah. And then also another book that still has my pen in it from where I'm annotating, I am still going to finish Anna Karenina eventually. Again, this might take me 20 years, but I will do it one day. And I was really enjoying it, but like I said, like I'm just really into romance, and I mean like this has a romance aspect to it, but it's not like, it's not a romance because it doesn't end with a happily ever after, which, sorry, that might be a spoiler, but I would assume, I mean, can we really call anything or talking about what happens in a classic a spoiler? It's like this book has been out for what, like over 200 years? So anyway, I got a lot further in this book than I did in the other one. I'm on page 230, and I did vlog the first section of my reading of this, so I'm hoping to, I don't want to say I'm going to finish it next year, I don't want to put that pressure on me, but I'm hoping to at least have my next vlog up next year for the next section. So yeah, I'm going to finish it eventually. And then another book that I started reading and stopped reading because I want romance, although I was feeling a little romance vibe in this one, although it's not the main plot point, so it'll help me get back into it, but Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. So I read The Way of Kings last year, and I'd started reading, or I'd almost started reading, I like picked it up, Words of Radiance, which is the second book in the series, but then I watched some videos, I talked to my sister and my brother, who both have read this, who are both further along in the series than I am, and they both said that you don't necessarily have to read this before Words of Radiance, but there's a character in this book who kind of comes up in Words of Radiance because it's all in the same Cosmere, so that's kind of why I decided to pick this one up. And I was really enjoying it. Like I thought it was very interesting, but like I said, I want romance. So I will get back into this eventually. This is my brother's copy, and I'm gonna have to buy him a new one. Shh, don't tell him. But yeah, so I will I'm gonna finish this eventually. Those are the books that I DNF'd. I think there might be one or two more, but as I was going through the books that I've read this year, I couldn't really think of any more. So yeah, I DNF'd at least 8 books this year, and I didn't count the ones that I'm still considering finishing. I only counted the ones that I know I'm not going to finish. And yes, I counted them in my count for the year because this isn't a competition and I can count what I want to. So yeah. I mean, I feel like 8 books out of, I'm currently at 197 is good for the amount of books that I DNF'd. So I'm just like, I still read a lot, and I feel like if I had kept pushing myself to read these, I wouldn't have maybe read some of the better books that I read this year, or have been like reading as much as I have. I probably definitely, if I had forced myself to finish like either of these books, I would have put myself into a reading slump. So because I didn't force myself, and I plan on coming back to them in due time, I was able to read a lot more books that I enjoyed. So another reason to DNF, because if you want to read a lot, you have to stop reading books that you don't like. Just saying. Just saying. Which might sound counterintuitive, like, why, if you want to read more books, stop reading. But I think it actually works. If you stop reading books that you're not interested in, you're going to fly faster through the books you actually want to read. So there you go. That is why you should DNF books if you need to. And don't worry about it. Because reading is not a competition, and it doesn't matter to anyone but yourself when it comes to DNFing books. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Let me know what books that you DNF'd, and if you read any of these books, what got you through them. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in a new video pretty soon.